What if I told you, the deadliest war in history wasn't World War II? That millions of lives were shattered by a conflict most people barely talk about today. A war that started, with a single bullet. June 28, 1914. A summer morning in Sarajevo. Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, rides in an open car with his wife. Crowds cheer. But among them lurks a young assassin, waiting. Gavrilo Princip, a 19-year-old radical, steps forward. A pistol shakes in his hand. 2 shots crack through the air. The Archduke and his wife collapse. Silence. Then chaos. Europe is about to explode. It wasn't just an assassination. It was a match thrown into a powder keg. Centuries of alliances, rivalries, and secret deals would now drag nations into war. But why did one murder matter so much? Austria-Hungary blames Serbia. Russia vows to protect Serbia. Germany promises to defend Austria. France is tied to Russia. And Britain? Watching nervously. The dominoes are lined up, ready to fall. Austria sends Serbia an ultimatum: obey, or face war. Serbia accepts most demands, but not all. Austria declares war anyway. Within days, Europe's great powers are mobilizing millions of men. By August 1914, the unthinkable has happened. Germany, Austria-Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire stand against France, Britain, Russia, and soon, almost the entire world. This isn't just a war. It's the Great War. Germany's plan: strike France fast through Belgium, then crush Russia. But invading neutral Belgium drags Britain into the war. The stage is set for one of the bloodiest stalemates in human history. Columns of German troops march in perfect order. French cavalry still wear bright red trousers. Both sides believe the war will be over by Christmas. They couldn't be more wrong. September 1914. Just miles from Paris, the French make a desperate stand at the River Marne. Taxi cabs ferry soldiers to the front. Against all odds, Germany is pushed back. The Western Front freezes. Soldiers claw at the earth with shovels and bare hands. Trenches stretch for hundreds of miles, from the North Sea to Switzerland. A new kind of war is born: mud, rats, and barbed wire define it. Imagine standing knee-deep in freezing water. The stench of rotting corpses. The scream of artillery overhead, night and day. This is where millions of young men would live, and die, for 4 long years. Between the trenches lies a barren wasteland of craters, wire, and corpses. To cross it is suicide. Yet, wave after wave of soldiers are ordered to charge. Machine guns mow them down like grass. This isn't the war of knights and cavalry. It's the war of machines. Machine guns, flamethrowers, poison gas. Science has turned into death's most efficient weapon. April 1915. Ypres, Belgium. A green-yellow cloud drifts across the battlefield. Soldiers cough, claw at their throats, collapse in agony. The age of chemical warfare has begun. While the West sinks into stalemate, the East rages with movement. Russia throws millions of men into battle. Germany counters with brutal efficiency. Whole armies are swallowed in weeks. Meanwhile, far away, a daring plan unfolds. The Allies attempt to strike the Ottoman Empire at Gallipoli. Young men from Australia and New Zealand land on hostile beaches, and are cut down by relentless fire. From Africa to Asia, battles erupt. Colonies are dragged into Europe's fight. Indian soldiers, Senegalese troops, Canadians, all thrown into a war that was never truly theirs. 1916, the German army launches a massive assault on Verdun, France. The goal? Bleed France dry. They shall not pass, the French vow. 10 months of slaughter. 700,000 men killed or wounded. To relieve Verdun, the British attack at the Somme. On day 1, 60,000 British soldiers fall. By the end, over 1 million casualties. The ground gained. A few miles of ruined earth. Above the trenches, a new battlefield emerges. Canvas biplanes duel in the skies. A German ace named Manfred von Richthofen, the Red Baron, becomes a legend. War has come to the heavens. 1916 also brings a beast no soldier has seen before, the tank. Slow, clumsy, unreliable, but unstoppable against barbed wire. The future of mechanized warfare rumbles to life. Across the ocean, the United States stays neutral. But German U-boats sink ships without warning. Civilians die. Anger grows. The question looms, how long before America joins the fight? May 1915. The British liner Lusitania is torpedoed. Nearly 1,200 passengers drown, including Americans. Outrage spreads. Germany promises to stop unrestricted submarine warfare, but it's only a pause. 1917, Russia crumbles under the strain of war. Bread riots erupt. The Tsar abdicates. A new force rises, the Bolsheviks, promising peace, land, and bread. Soon, Russia will leave the war entirely. April 1917. The US finally declares war on Germany. Fresh troops, fresh supplies, fresh hope. The tide of war is about to turn, but not before one final storm of blood. With Russia gone, Germany throws everything into one last offensive. Spring 1918, stormtroopers smash through Allied lines. Paris is once again within reach. The Allies teeter on the edge of collapse. But now, the Americans arrive in force. Young, eager, full of energy. They charge into battle, and suddenly the exhausted Allies have new strength. Germany begins to falter. August 1918. The Allies launch a relentless counterattack. Village by village, trench by trench, the Germans are pushed back. The war machine of the Central Powers is breaking down. Austria-Hungary disintegrates. The Ottomans surrender. Germany stands alone, starving, exhausted, broken. Yet its leaders hesitate. Millions more may still die before they accept defeat. In Germany, sailors refuse orders. Workers strike. Revolution brews in the streets. The Kaiser flees into exile. The once mighty empire is crumbling from within. November 11, 1918. At 11 a.m., the guns fall silent. After 4 years of unimaginable slaughter, the Great War is over. But peace does not feel like victory, it feels like exhaustion. 8.5 million soldiers dead. 13 million civilians gone. Millions more scarred for life. Entire landscapes reduced to moonscapes. For empires vanish into history's graveyard. A generation of young men, gone. Poets, artists, farmers, fathers. Entire villages with no sons left to return. The world will never be the same again. 1919, in Paris, the victors gather to write peace. The Treaty of Versailles punishes Germany harshly, crippling reparations, loss of land, humiliation. Seeds of future conflict are quietly planted. The war promised to end all wars. But in reality, it left bitterness, broken nations, and a sense of betrayal. It was only the beginning of something far darker on the horizon. From Africa to the Middle East, the war redrew borders and destroyed empires. Millions of colonial soldiers returned home, with questions about freedom that Europe wasn't ready to answer. Technology, politics, society, everything was transformed. Women entered the workforce. Old monarchies fell. Democracies rose. But instability ruled, and peace was fragile. Every veteran carried scars, some visible, some invisible. Shell shock haunted men's minds. The world wanted to forget, but the memory of mud, gas, and death lingered in silence. So, was World War I truly the war to end all wars? Or was it merely the opening act of an even greater nightmare to come?